Camera opens on Drew in front of a giant, blurry picture of an elephant. Alright, picture this. You're walking through the jungle thousands of years ago, minding your own business, maybe looking for berries, and then, bam, there it is. The largest land animal you've ever seen. It's huge. It's gray. It's got a nose hand thing. Yeah, that ass. The moment humans first met the elephant, and spoiler alert, they were just as confused as you are right now. Cut to a montage of elephants in slow motion with dramatic music. Today, we're talking about how humans discovered elephants, why we thought they were part monster, part god, and how they went from mysterious giants to circus performers to endangered treasures. Ancient art of elephants fades in. So elephants have been around for like forever. The oldest fossils are over 5 million years old, and throughout history they haven't really changed much. But for early humans, this was like meeting a living tank. I mean, imagine you've only ever seen deer, boars, maybe a lion, and then suddenly there's this walking boulder with floppy ears and a built-in snorkel. The first written records we have come from ancient India and Mesopotamia. And these ancient traders described elephants as powerful, gentle, and capable of understanding human speech, which if you've ever seen one steal a hat from a tourist, you know isn't entirely wrong. But let's go back even further to those first encounters. What was that first meeting like? Well, for a lot of early humans, it might have looked a bit like this. You see, the earliest known evidence of humans and elephants interacting comes from a place called Grandolina in Spain. Now, this site was excavated between 1980 and 1994. And what they found was pretty incredible. It's about 1.2 million years old, and it contains some of the oldest human footprints ever discovered, mixed in with, well, elephant footprints. And I know it might sound confusing, but there's actually 3 different species of elephants from back then. There's the straight-tusked elephant, the dwarf elephant, and the most famous one, the long-tusked elephant. So our ancestors definitely had a chance to meet all of these guys. And although some scientists say the tracks might have been made when the elephants weren't around, others argue that these ancient humans hunted them. Why? Well, some of the footprints show signs of injury, and at least one human shoe was found near a large elephant track, meaning these animals probably played a role in human life, whether it was good or bad. The thing is, though we never know exactly what those first encounters were like, because writing didn't really start until thousands of years later. So for now, this elephant stuff is a mystery, which brings us to medieval maps and old drawings of weird elephants. A whole bunch of confusion. See? People who'd never seen an elephant before had to rely on travelers' descriptions, which, never really goes well. Like, remember that time your friend told you what a cute puppy looked like and then you showed up to the dog park and it was actually a 6-foot... Yeah, it's the same vibe. For example, the Greek writer Ctesias described elephants as giant bulls with snake noses. Ancient Chinese texts talked about their dragon-like scales, and back in Europe, for centuries, artists painted them with horse hooves, because apparently no one thought to check. Basically, since nobody could agree on what an elephant looked like, they just started adding cool features like snakes and dragons. And I don't blame them. I mean, I'd draw a dragon on anything that walked into my town and did unleave for at least 2 weeks. And speaking of things entering towns, elephants quickly became history's ultimate flex. Like, yeah, if you want to show off your power, you roll up to the party on an elephant. The most famous example. Hannibal? Not the creepy movie one. The Carthaginian general who famously marched his war elephants across the Alps in 218 BCE to invade Rome. Imagine being a Roman soldier and seeing that coming at you. You'd probably just clock out for the day. Fun fact, some historians argue that Hannibal's war elephants actually lost him the battle because, well, they couldn't keep up with the Roman cavalry. Plus, they hated the cold and snow. But hey, who's counting? Okay, so fast forward a few hundred years and elephants was still considered a big deal. I mean, these guys are huge. They can trample you, and they can swim underwater for 20 minutes. So obviously, they're a big deal. But their reputation really exploded in India where they were, and still are sacred animals representing wisdom, good fortune, and strength. The ancient Indian epic Mahabharata even says that an elephant is a god in disguise. And that's probably because war elephants would literally bless the battlefield. I mean, can you imagine getting gored by a tusked elephant with bells on its tusks and a lit candle on its forehead? No, that's not a flex. That's a legit blessing. But let us talk about those elephant riders, because they were an important part of ancient Asian armies and royalty. Like, seriously? These guys were elite. We're talking highly trained soldiers and skilled elephant handlers. They rode on special platforms built into the elephant's saddle. And they used tools like goads and hooks to direct them. They could control everything, from the elephant's tusks to its ears. But the coolest thing, some riders were armed with giant bows and arrows. Just imagine the look on your face if you've got shot by an arrow fired by a guy riding on an elephant. You wouldn't believe me if I wrote a story about it. Speaking of stories, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room. Or, well, the elephant in the jungle. The one that caused the extinction of every tall plant in a 500-mile radius. Yeah, that guy. I'm talking about the destruction myth. The idea that elephants destroy everything in sight. And it makes sense. Right. If something's that big and that strong, it's bound to wreck some stuff. But here's the thing. For a lot of history, we don't have real data on elephants. We have myths, legends, and stories. Sure, but not science. So the elephant kind of got lumped in with big, scary monsters like crocodiles and tigers. In medieval bestiaries, they were even grouped with demons and vampires. Not exactly flattering company. But hey, at least they weren't alone. Oh, and speaking of being alone, here's a fun fact. For hundreds of years, Europeans believed elephants traveled alone, which isn't true. I mean, elephants live in herds, not retirement homes. But it turns out people just hadn't seen a herd of elephants. Ever. But hey, once they learned that elephants lived in groups, they made up for it in the opposite way, by believing elephants spoke in full sentences. You know, that's the thing about history. For every fact we learn, there's usually another weird myth waiting to take its place. Like, take this one. For instance, medieval Europeans thought elephants were born from the backs of turtles. Seriously? That's what they drew. So, here's a turtle, and on its back is a baby elephant. And 4 bonus points. Tell me in the comments what animal you think came next. Okay, moving on. Footage of Hannibal's army crossing snowy mountains. From mythical monsters to battlefield. Tanks to the gentle giants we're fighting to protect. The discovery of the elephant has always been a reminder that the world is a lot bigger, stranger, and more amazing than we think. And hey, if you liked this video, subscribe before an elephant does. With a trunk like that, hitting the like button would be way easier. As for me, I'm gonna head over to this website and check out some cool elephant stuff. Hey, if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. You know what else is amazing? The inner work of the writers, editors, graphic designers, and musicians who make videos like this possible. And you can get a glimpse of that process by following our social media account. You'll get behind the scenes, sneak peeks, bloopers, and a chance to see our videos early. Plus, you'll get to suggest future topics and vote on upcoming scripts. It's like being part of the team. So follow along and join the fun.